Everyone thought Mark Carney would be begging Trump for mercy in late October. Another desperate Canadian leader making the pilgrimage to Washington. Another humiliating photo where Trump jokes about the 51st state while Canadian workers lose everything. Everyone was completely wrong. On October 21, 2025, something unprecedented happened. While Trump assumed Canada had nowhere to go, Carney dropped a bombshell that changed everything. He announced intensive tariff negotiations with Washington, reaching unprecedented detail. But here's what the media completely missed. At the exact same moment, Carney revealed an 8-day tour across Asia covering Malaysia, Singapore, and South Korea. 677 million people, a $5 trillion economy, and direct access to markets that don't require American permission. If you believe Canada should negotiate from strength instead of desperation, hit that like button because what Carney just orchestrated will redefine how middle powers challenge superpowers. This is the Trump tariff war story nobody saw coming. Let me explain how we got here. March 4th, 2025. Trump slams Canada with brutal tariffs. 25% on most goods, 50% on steel and aluminum. His justification was fentanyl and trade deficits. Even though 99% of fentanyl enters through Mexico and Canada actually runs a trade surplus with America. Trump wanted leverage. Tariffs were his weapon in the escalating trade war. Carney responded with $30 billion in counter-tariffs. Then he did something Trump never expected. He went quiet. No media battles, no Twitter wars, just strategic silence while Canadian negotiators met with Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Trade Representative Jamieson Greer throughout spring and summer. Progress was minimal in these trade negotiations. Trump kept moving goalposts, first demanding border security improvements, then Keystone XL pipeline revival, then floating the 51st state idea during their May meeting. By September, Canadian steel producers were hemorrhaging jobs. Aluminum smelters in Quebec faced closure. The tariff impact was devastating working families across Canada. But while Trump focused on squeezing Canada, Asia was transforming. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations accelerated away from American dependence after Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement. ASEAN countries, representing 677 million people and a $5 trillion economy, signed the Kuala Lumpur Declaration in April, a 20-year roadmap to double trade without American involvement. Here's where Carney's strategy becomes brilliant. In September, he signed Canada's first bilateral agreement with Indonesia, 95% of tariffs eliminated, $825 million in financing. Proof that Canada could build major trade partnerships without Washington's blessing. And Trump's team noticed. Suddenly, the intensive tariff negotiations started moving faster. By mid-October, sources reported steel and aluminum deals reaching unprecedented detail levels. Canada would accept quotas for significantly lower tariffs. But here's the genius move. 4 days before confirming tariff progress, Carney announced his Asia tour from October 24th to November 1st. The numbers are staggering. ASEAN was Canada's fourth largest trading partner in 2024, with $42.3 billion in two-way trade. That's 15% of Canada's total China trade and growing rapidly. Malaysia offers access to markets seeking alternatives to China's manufacturing dominance and Trump's unpredictability. The ASEAN Digital Economy Framework aims to double the region's digital economy to $2 trillion by 2030. Think about this. While Trump demands Canada accept steel tariffs and revive Keystone XL, Carney is building trade infrastructure that completely bypasses American control. It's like negotiating with one difficult contractor while quietly getting better quotes from 3 others. That's diplomatic leverage in action during this trade war. The timing is crucial. Trump will be in South Korea for the APEC summit from October 31st through November 1st. So will leaders from 20 Pacific Rim economies representing 60% of global GDP. If Carney arrives with fresh ASEAN agreements and Singapore technology deals, Trump faces a choice. cut a reasonable deal with Canada, or watch Canada integrate deeper into Asian supply chains that increasingly exclude American firms. The steel deal taking shape reflects this pressure. Canada accepts quotas around 2.3 million tons annually, close to recent export levels, in exchange for tariffs dropping from 50% to 5 or 10%. That's not capitulation in the trade war. That's managed trade replacing economic warfare. Canadian aluminum needed for American defense manufacturing would see tariffs eliminated entirely. Here's the cruel irony Trump missed. While negotiating pipeline access to American refineries, Carney was finalizing LNG export expansion to Asian markets. British Columbia's LNG Canada facility will ship liquefied natural gas to Japan, South Korea, and China at premium prices with 20-year contracts. By 2027, Canada could export more energy value to Asia than through any revived Keystone XL. Trump's tariff strategy didn't force Canada to fold. It created conditions where Canada found better options. Canadian steel exports to Britain jumped 63% between March and September 2025. The European Union's Rearm Europe program offers $1.25 trillion in defense spending opportunities. October 2025 may be remembered as the month Canada stopped asking for American permission and started building alternatives. The APEC summit will reveal whether this trade negotiation strategy succeeded. If you want to understand how middle powers are reshaping global trade despite Trump tariffs, subscribe because we're covering Canada's emergence as a truly independent player in international trade.